It's time to enjoy Essay 300. We've completed the entire 200 series and it's time to rock Essay 300. Hey, hi everyone, this is Ravi Agarwal and let's crack Essay 300. So what is Essay 300? Planning an audit of financial statement. We always talk about audit of financial statement. So how do you plan? How do I plan? Who will tell me? You go to Essay 300, he's gonna tell you. Okay, so Essay 300 talks about planning an audit of financial statement. Okay, so what is the objective of Essay 300? It says to plan an audit to perform in an effective manner. Why do we plan anything? So that we can do it in an effective manner. That's exactly Essay 300 is telling you. Plan an audit so that you can perform in an effective manner. Okay, so there are 3 requirements of Essay 300. What are those 3 requirements of Essay 300? Is number 1, involvement of key engagement team member. This is telling you that Essay 300 is telling you involve your 3 key team members. No, involve your key team members. Number 1. Number 2, preliminary engagement activity. Before you plan, do some preliminary engagement activity. And third, that is obvious, planning activities. So I said you there are 3 requirements of Essay 300. What are those? Involve your key engagement team members. I said, okay, sir, I will. Secondly, before you plan, do what? Preliminary engagement activities. I said, sure. Third, and the last is planning activities. Obviously, this is talking about planning. So, planning activities has to be there or not? Yes. So, let's understand each one of them. Number 1 requirement is involvement of key engagement team. Involvement of key engagement team members. Okay, so what is saying? He's saying that engagement partner and other key member of engagement team must be involved in planning the audit. It's like, okay, so who has to be involved? Engagement partner and other key members of the engagement team must be involved in planning an audit. Second requirement of Essay 300 is preliminary engagement activity. Before you plan, you do some preliminary engagement activity. What is it? Auditor should perform procedure as per 200. That is with respect to continuance of client relationship. Okay, it's saying that auditor should perform procedure as per Essay 220 with respect to continuance of client relationship. Yeah, we learned it in Essay 200. Quality control for an audit of financial statement. You remember 200? Quality control for an audit of financial statement. Okay, there we learned about acceptance and continuous client relationship. So that's what in preliminary engagement activity Essay 300 is telling auditor that buddy, what you do, you perform some procedure as per Essay 220 with respect to continuance of client relationship. So it's just telling you to just perform one procedure. Just perform this procedure. Okay, procedure related to continuance of client relationship. I said, okay, I will do it. Second, the preliminary engagement activity, what you do over here, auditor should evaluate compliance with ethical requirement. You remember OIPCC? Remember? Ethical requirement, learned it in Essay 200 also. Okay, so auditor should evaluate compliance with ethical requirement, okay, including independence as per Essay 220. And then lastly, understand the terms of engagement. You remember the terms of engagement, Essay 210? Okay, so what are we studying? Tell me right now. We are studying requirement of Essay 300. What is the first requirement? Involvement of key engagement team member. So here, engagement partner, other key members of the engagement team must be involved in planning the audit. Second requirement is preliminary engagement activity. Preliminary engagement activity. Okay, you have to do this before planning. Yes. What do we do over here? Auditors should perform procedure as per 220 with respect to continuance of client relationship. Secondly, evaluate compliance with ethical requirement. Just check whether compliance with ethical requirement going on or not. And then lastly, understand the terms of engagement as per Essay 210. Just understand the terms of engagement. You understand? Alright then. So last requirement of Essay 300 is planning activity. What is it? In planning activity, which is very simple. We do development of overall audit strategy and development of audit plan. Remember, in the entire Essay 300, you will hear these 2 words again and again. Audit strategy, audit plan. Audit strategy, audit plan. I'll clear this out later. Okay, so planning activity, what we do over here, development of overall audit strategy and development of audit plan. Okay, see, development of overall audit strategy. What I see, there are how many points? I believe there are 5 points. So I made a mnemonics called CORN. It's not written over there. You write it because I'm teaching you. CORNS. CORN. You like corn, no? Corns. It's corns. Okay, so development of overall audit strategy. What is the mnemonic? CORNS. C is, the auditor shall identify and consider characteristics of engagement to understand scope. Okay, what are we doing right now? We are developing overall audit strategy. So, we should identify, we should consider characteristics of engagement. Okay, we have to identify characteristics of engagement so that we can understand scope of audit. Are you getting me? So development of overall audit strategy, first of all, is CORN is C is correct. We have to identify, we have to consider characteristics of engagement so that we can understand scope of audit. C. O is objectives. Okay, reporting objectives to understand NTE of communication required. We have to, identify, we have to consider reporting objectives so that we can understand nature, timing, extent of communication required. Okay, we are studying CORNS, CORNS. C is characteristics. We have to understand, we have to identify, consider characteristics of engagement to understand scope of it. Okay, we have to understand, identify reporting objectives so that to understand nature, timing, extent of communication required. R is a result of preliminary engagement activity. Yeah, in just the second requirement of SA 300, we understood the preliminary requirement activity, right? We did preliminary requirement activity. So what is the result of preliminary requirement activity? Okay, we have to consider that also. COR. What is C? Characteristics of engagement to understand scope of audit. O is, reporting objectives to understand nature, time, extent of communication required. And then R is result of preliminary engagement activities. And N is nature, timing, extent of resources that is necessary to perform engagement. What? Nature, timing, extent of resources that is necessary to perform engagement. We have to take that also, consider that also. And S is, COR. S is significant factor to direct the engagement team. You can also learn 5 points, that is CON, COR and CON. So now what are we studying? Come on, tell me. 300. We are studying SA 300, planning and audit of financial statement. What is the objective of that essay? To plan and audit to perform in an effective manner. Okay, what are the requirements? There are 3 requirements. SA 300. Involvement engagement team. What do we do over here? Engagement team and other key member of the engagement must be involved in planning. Preliminary engagement activity. What we do? Very simple. Over here we perform procedure as per SA 200 with respect to continuous of client relationship, and auditors should evaluate compliance with ethical requirement. You remember OIPCC. And then understanding of terms of engagement as per SA 210. And then finally planning activity. The last requirement of SA 300. Planning activity is 2 things. Development of overall audit strategy. Okay, CORN, CORN. And then development of audit plan. Okay, what we do in development of overall is we should consider and identify characteristics. C, CORN. C is characteristics of engagement to understand scope of audit. Okay, O is reporting objectives to understand NTE of communication required. COR, result of preliminary engagement activities. And then lastly N, nature, timing, extent of resources required necessary to perform engagement. And then last in planning activities, development of audit plan. Okay, what do? We develop audit plan. Okay, we have to, you remember the word procedure over here, right? We have to understand the nature, timing, extent of risk assessment procedure as per SA 315. We'll discuss nature, timing, extent of risk assessment procedure as per SA 315 first. And then what we do in audit, development audit plan, nature, timing, extent of further audit procedure. I told you, procedure as per SA 330. And then lastly other plan audit procedure, if there is any other plan audit procedure. So development audit plan, you just remember procedure, nature, timing, extent of risk assessment procedure, nature, timing, extent of further audit procedure, and other plan audit procedure. This is it, the requirement. And then there's one more, you need to know about the documentation also. 300 is talking about document. Like, what do you document? I know this audit strategy, whatever audit strategy is there, I need to document it. Audit plan, I need to document it. And lastly, if there is a change in any audit strategy, audit plan, and reason for such change, you document that also. So documentation, very simple. Audit strategy, documented. Audit plan, documented. Change in audit strategy and audit plan, and reason for such change, documented. All right, the next question is additional consideration in initial audit engagement. Okay, audit engagement, you understand? So whenever the audit is yet to start or it is in the starting phase, you need to consider something. What do I need to consider? Additional consideration in initial audit engagement. What do I have to consider? Prior to start of audit, listen carefully. Prior to start of audit, auditor shall perform 2 things. I discussed earlier also. He need to check acceptance and continuance of client relationship as per SA 220. So before I start the audit, I, auditor, shall perform acceptance and continuance of client relationship. I just need to check the procedure related to acceptance and continuance of client relationship. I just need to check acceptance and continuance of client relationship as per SA 220. And I also need to check the communication with predecessor auditor. Okay, I will do this, yeah. I will check this acceptance and continuation of client relationship as per SA 220, and I will also communicate with predecessor auditor. So this is they are telling me before you start auditor, you perform these 2: acceptance and continuance of client relationship, and communication with predecessor auditor. I don't mind doing it because SA 300 is telling me I will do it. Then next, the advantage and benefit of planning. It's telling you what are the benefits, what are the advantage of planning in an audit of financial statement. Okay. Hi, Madam mnemonic again. It's called AIM CS. CS, company secretary, is a course. So AIM, we are doing CS anyways. AIM. What? CA? No, CS. What are the advantage of planning in an audit of financial statement? AIM, CS. Aim. Okay. So let's understand the advantage of planning. A is attention to important area. If you plan, you are able to give attention to important areas. I is identify potential problem on timely basis. Okay. If you plan, you are able to identify potential problem on timely basis. Aim. A is attention to important area. I is identify potential problem on timely basis. M is managing the audit engagement. If you plan, you are able to manage the audit engagement. Aim is done. CS. Okay. CS. What are we studying? We are studying advantage or benefit of planning in an audit of financial statement. Aim. CS. A is attention to important areas. I identify potential problem on timely basis. M is managing the audit engagement. Aim is done. CS is coordination of work. Yeah, if you plan, you are able to easily coordinate the work. And S is selection of engagement team. If you plan, you will obviously select engagement team, right? Yes. So what is the advantage of planning? AMCS. A is attention to important area. I is identify potential problem on timely basis. M is managing the audit engagement. And CS is coordination of work, EG coordination of work, and S is selection of team engagement. All right, then we have a few more questions and it's done. What is it? Can the audit, very simple question, just understand, can the, and yeah, I forgot to tell you, whenever I'm studying it from Auditpedia 2.0, especially standards. So you must have Auditpedia 2.0 in your pocket. In case you don't have, you take it from me, see Ravi Agarwal. Can the audit plan or strategy be changed during the audit engagement? It's very simple question asking you, can audit plan or strategy be changed during audit engagement? Yes. Why not? Right? Because audit planning is a continuous process. Right? Auditor may change. It's clearly written. Auditor may change audit plan or strategy during performance of audit engagement as a result of. When it can change, it's telling you. Unexpected event happened. Oh, I can change it. In that case, changes in condition happen. I can change it. You got evidence obtained as a result of audit procedure. You got some evidence which requires change. You can change it. A very simple question was there. Can the audit plan or strategy be changed during the audit engagement? Yeah. Audit planning is a continuous process. Auditor may change audit plan or strategy during performance of audit engagement as a result of unexpected event, change in condition, and audit evidence obtained from the result of audit procedure. So we can change because of these three reasons. All right. So I told you there are two words very you will hear, that is audit strategy and audit plan. So let us understand the relation between audit strategy and audit plan. Our next question. See, audit strategy provides you guideline to develop audit plan. Okay, you mean from audit strategy I get guideline and from that I prepare audit plan? Yes. Audit strategy provides you guideline for developing audit plan. Okay. Next, audit strategy establish scope. It will provide you the scope of audit procedure. Okay, audit strategy is providing me so many things. Yes. Understand again. Audit strategy provide you guideline for developing audit plan. Okay. Audit strategy establish scope and conduct of audit procedure. Okay. Audit strategy also provide me scope of audit procedure. Yes, and thereby work as basis of developing a detailed audit plan. Therefore audit strategy helps you to develop a detailed audit plan. You got my point, what I'm telling you. Audit strategy helps, it provides guideline for developing plan. It also provides scope of audit procedure. Therefore it helps you to develop audit plan. Audit strategy. Right. Now I understand about detailed audit plan. Okay, so this plan, what is this plan all about? Detailed audit plan indicate NTE of audit procedure. If you open up the plan, what will you get from here? What will you get inside detailed audit plan? You will get NTE, nature, timing, extent of audit procedure. Now obviously it will help you to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Alright, then audit strategy is prepared before audit plan. Mind you, number third, audit strategy is prepared. Obviously, audit strategy is prepared before audit plan, because audit plan will be prepared by audit strategy. And then audit plan, if you compare, audit plan contain more, but this is true, audit plan contain more detail than overall audit strategy. Audit plan is detailed. Okay, and this is the third point. And then last, audit strategy and audit plan are interrelated, right? Audit strategy and audit plan are interrelated because change in one would result into change in the other. So very simple relationship. What did we understand? Audit strategy provides you guidelines, it provides you scope of procedure, therefore it helps as a basis for developing audit detailed plan, right? And then audit plan, what does audit plan provide you? Provide the NTE of audit procedure so that you can obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. And then audit strategy is prepared before audit plan, right? And audit plan is more detailed. And then lastly, change in one will result into change into other, right? And the last question of SE 200, guys, come on, last question of SE 300. Steps involved in formulation of audit strategy. What are the steps involved in formulation of audit strategy? You know this line, designing an audit strategy is the backbone of audit planning process. Obviously, now first you get audit strategy. From there, it serves as a backbone for developing audit planning, right? So designing an audit strategy is a backbone of audit planning process. Okay, so what are the steps? What are the steps involved in formulation of audit strategy? There are 4 simple steps. What? 4 simple steps. This is very general. Matlab, what are the steps involved in formulation of audit strategy? When you formulate audit strategy, what are the steps involved in it? Number 1, obtain knowledge of business. Obviously, if you don't have the knowledge of business, how will you formulate audit strategy? Knowledge of business, and then you got to perform analytical procedure. Okay, you need to evaluate inherent risk. You need to evaluate internal control. So once again, I know what are you asking for. You're asking for mnemonics over here. I'll give you, don't worry. Steps involved in formulation of audit strategy. Steps involved in formulation of audit strategy. Obtain knowledge of business, perform analytical procedure, evaluate 2 things, inherent risk and internal control. You're asking for mnemonic, take it, write it. IPO. I is inherent risk or internal control. Inherent, I for inherent risk, I for internal control. You got to evaluate those, right? Number 1, I. PO. P is perform analytical procedure. O is obtain knowledge of business. So IPO, these are the steps involved in formulation of audit strategy. What are the steps? IPO. I is I is inherent risk, evaluated, internal control, evaluated, and P is perform analytical procedure, and O is obtain knowledge of business. How was it? You're not giving me feedback. Yeah, come on, come to WhatsApp number or anywhere in the social media. Give me feedback that how is it going on? Are you loving it? I'm gonna rock this entire subject, audit. So we are done with essay 300. And what was essay 300 all about? Can you revise? Can we revise it once again? Come on. What was the standard 300 all about? It's an objective. What is objective of essay 300? To plan an audit to perform in an effective manner. What is the requirement of essay 300? 3 simple requirements. Involve team member, key engagement team member. Preliminary activity you got to do before planning, and then lastly planning activity. And then we heard about documentation. 3 simple things. Audit strategy document, audit plan document. If there is a change in audit strategy, audit plan documented. Additional consider also you have to do before you start engagement, you start audit. So just acceptance and continuous client relationship. Just check the procedure, communicate also with predecessor auditor. All right, then what is the benefit of audit planning? Very simple. AMCS. A stand for attention to important area. I stand for identify potential problem, and M stand for managing the audit engagement, and CS easy coordination of work, and S is selection of engagement team. Then can the audit plan or strategy be changed? Yeah, it can be changed, because audit is a continuous process. You can change it in 3 circumstances. One is unexpected event happen, change in condition, or audit evidence obtained from the result of audit procedure. And then 2 more question is done. Relationship between overall audit strategy. You know that audit strategy provides you guidelines. It provides you the scope of audit procedure, thereby it helps you developing audit plan. And then detail, it's a detailed audit plan, so it would indicate nature, timing, extent of audit procedure, audit plan, and it helps you to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. And audit strategy is prepared before audit plan, this, and audit plan is the detailed one. And then last, here the audit strategy and plan are interrelated, because the change in one will result in change in another. And the last question of essay 300 is steps involved in formulation audit strategy. That is IPO. I is inherent risk, in internal control, you have to evaluate it. P is perform you have to perform analytical procedure, and O is obtain knowledge of business. Are we done? Signing off. See you, Ravi Agarwal. See you in next session.